Hello, Dallas. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to all my global viewers. Thank you so much for joining and today's live program on Facebook as well as YouTube. Welcome to my show, Global Capshup. It's an IHA news presentation. And I'm your host, Anu Benakatti, taking you all on an exciting journey with me to meet extraordinary guests in every single episode. So, welcome. Um, focus of today's show is kind of a different, and it is focusing on and I mean, like, it's an importance and a responsibility towards giving back. So let's talk about more about that one is bringing the awareness of registering to donate bone marrow and to save a life is the most the important topic of today's show. And as we go, we talk a lot more about it, and then in detail, the organization that's involved in it and who actually is working. And more than anything, we have an interesting guest who will be helping understanding a little bit of a depth of the goal of this organization as well. Well, along with that, we have two very young, enthusiastic, and passionate volunteers of this organization also joining us. Save a Life in your community, Save a Life IYC in short. And let me welcome Swastika and Shreya, who is working very hard with me in this organizational work in reaching goals, in doing a lot of projects. So, Swastika and Shreya, welcome. Hello, Swastika. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, good. And also, hi, Shreya. And so good to have you guys. So I am going to let Shreya introduce herself. Shreya, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is Shreya Singh, and I'm an 8th grade student at Coppell ISD. I started volunteering for Save a Life IYC about a year ago, and I got involved with this organization because I get the opportunity to lend a hand to the community, and I'm really passionate about helping others. It's so gratifying and overjoying to know that I'm able to contribute to a greater cause and save lives. And I'm really looking forward to speaking with our special guest tonight.
Oh, absolutely. We all are excited. So, and I'm going to give the stage to Swastika to introduce herself and tell a little bit about herself. Swastika, can you tell us a little bit?
Sure. Hi, I'm Swastika Charji, and I'm a junior at Liberty High School. I'm a Save a Life IYC campaign volunteer and a core team member. I've been working for Save a Life since January of 2019. I have joined this organization so that I can benefit my community by bringing in awareness. And I'm really glad to speak tonight with our guest.
All right, sounds awesome. Sounds very nice, and I think I'm also very excited. Folks, today's guest has been, taken the most prominent role to say and responsibility in creating a better society, community, and also the future of, our country. So to say, she's a teacher with the Coppell ISD Independent School District, and she's a pivot to this educational system, I should say. Then guiding students in learning life skills through educating them, and which they are likely to need as a part of the workforce towards the success. And on top of that, whether you're a teacher or any other profession, that you always wear many hats. Just like that, she's also a wife, mom, and a learner. And especially a very unique of this to tell about her is that she's a big dog lover. And to say that, like, she owns, I think, 5 dogs. That's a lot of dogs. And she has been with the Coppell ISD. She's serving there for 17 years out of her 25 years of being a teacher. So, and folks, it's an honor. And before that, I also have to emphasize on one fact, being our today's guest, is that she is also a 15-year cancer survivor. So without further ado, it's my pleasure and honor to invite our today's guest, Mrs. Pam Crombar, to the show.
Hi there.
Hello and welcome, and thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure to have you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Hi, ladies.
I think they're excited to see you today. Well, before we start our show, I think since we are doing this special show and involving the organization, I am going to let our volunteers talk a little bit about this organization in brief, so that we will know what this organization is and what it does and how we can really get a benefit out of this one. So ladies, stage is yours. So go ahead and introduce us to your organization.
Save a Life IYC, which stands for Save a Life in Your Community. It carries an immense passion to alleviate people of their conditions and to benefit the community by bringing in awareness.
Okay.
Our mission is to help save more and more lives of those facing blood cancer or leukemia by increasing the number of stem cell donation and marrow donation. Another part of our goal is to eradicate the stigma around the donation process, as many people experience a sensation of unease and discomfort upon the mere topic of cancer. Mm-hmm. Now I'll hand it over to Swastika to give us some more information.
All right.
Thank you, Shreya. We can save someone who is suffering from blood cancer. Every one of us has the power to take someone's life. Unfortunately, it is not easy to find a marrow match. Less than 30% of patients can find a match within family members. The remaining 70% have to depend on unrelated donors from their own community. The odds of finding a marrow match in unrelated donors is 1 in 20,000 to 100,000 people. It is very rare to find a match.
Awesome. And that is such a wonderful, information. And to all of our audience, that I also must thank the founder of this organization, Mr. Viacini, for his passion and, for giving us this platform to serve and, make the bringing in awareness of, how important it is to register for the bone marrow donation. So now I, want to, like Ms. Crombar, we have tons of questions and discussion that we would like to, share with you and hear from you, because, this is quite a, how do I say, like a difficult journey for every person who is going through. And this is something that not in just, one day that you can say that, okay, it was there and it's gone. So it is going to stay with you for the rest of your life. And then the whole entire life will be a different story for every person who has to, change forever for the betterment of their future life. So being said that, first of all, I'm very grateful and thank you for accepting our invitation and also being open-heartedly to be ready to share your very personal journey of going through this breast cancer. So we are very grateful to you for being with us. So being said that, before we start the actual topic, I have a very fun question for you to start with, because I think we are going to get more serious about that. It's like, I know that you have mentioned that you enjoy, the encouraging young people to be themselves, and to know how unique and important they are. So tell me, how challenging is it in today's competitive education system?
How are you asking me how complicated it is to encourage
No,
kids to be themselves?
how challenging is it for you to, like make a student that realize that how unique they are, regardless of all the odds that and the competitive education system is not putting themselves in a position where to make themselves feel belittled.
Especially in middle school. Middle school is a
Mhm.
hard time of growing up. And I think that's why I chose to be a middle school teacher.
Mhm.
And I try to just envelop that as part of my classroom every day, to encourage kids to be unique and not be a follower. And it's just what I'm made of. So it's easy for me to do that. And it is just part of our classroom. Shreya's been in my classroom and she could probably tell you about that as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, that's good to know, because I know that we are, as a pandemic is going on for quite a bit, like, it's dragged more than what we thought it would be. And it's becoming more and more challenging. So, but I'm going to let Shreya, I know that Shreya and Swastika has a lot of questions for you also. So why don't we start with Shreya? Shreya, you had a question, so let's start with you. What question do you have regarding the survival of this, the disease?
Yeah, so can you please share with us when you were diagnosed with breast cancer and how you found out?
Sure. So my diagnosis happened in 2005. It was in December. And short story, I wasn't a very good proponent of self-examination. And when I did do that, I discovered a lump and then went quickly to the doctor to find out. And it just rolled into a diagnosis of having breast cancer.
Wow. So when you found out, so what was your reaction? Like, were you scared or something that made you, like, because the word cancer itself is very, people get very afraid of that word itself. So what was your reaction? Like, did you have 1,000 questions, like, how big it is or which condition or what stage and what do I do?
Well, so immediately I was scared. I had lost my mom several years earlier from a different kind of cancer, but for me, it was kind of just clumped together like, oh my gosh, I have cancer. And I remember kind of falling to my knees in my kitchen and trying to listen to what the doctor was telling me. But I think throughout it, the education of knowing what kind of cancer you have is really important. And I got that from my doctor all along the way.
And how important it is to know the details before you even conclude that, so did you ever think that, okay, I need to get the second opinion?
Yes. So I did get a second opinion and I did stay with my doctor because I really feel like you have to be on the same page and love your doctor.
Right.
So I really loved my doctor and felt like he understood what I wanted. And so we proceeded with that. But I remember the first day I needed to talk to him right away. And he was like, you just got diagnosed, so you probably need to digest this first. I was like, oh, no, I need to talk to you right now. And so he was very kind to talk to me, but in hindsight, I probably just needed to digest it first.
Yes. So what was the time duration that between the first diagnosis and then the decision of making the treatment?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh, wow. So was it hard?
It is hard because cancer changes every day. So you're making a decision based on only what you know today, knowing that there's going to be new discoveries tomorrow.
Right.
And so that was a little bit trying to me, trying to make a decision like, gosh, I don't know what it's going to be like in a year, but having to make that choice pretty immediately. And part of that was because I'm a teacher and it was by Christmas break. So it was more convenient for me to get that taken care of without everyone in the school knowing what was going on.
Right. Wow, that's wonderful to know. So, Swastika, you also had, okay, now go ahead. What is your question?
So what sort of treatment did you receive?
So my choice was to go with, I got a lumpectomy, and I ended up having to have two because they had to make sure they had clear margins. And then I chose to do radiation because my kind of cancer was within a milk duct. So it was very confined to one area.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I chose to do.
So is it going to be very difficult, even though it is confined to one area? So is this like an outer part of it or inner part of it? So does that make it difficult for to go through a treatment?
So for me and my decision, after they took the lymph nodes and found out that it really wasn't anywhere else in my body, it was an easy decision for me. I had seen some people choose chemo and just the different things that it did to them. And so, everyone has their own journey, and it's a hard decision to make, and you need to be honored in the decision that you make for your own body.
Oh, I'm sure. So that must be so is there a pre-treatment before you go through any of these procedures that you should follow?
A pre-treatment. I jumped on the Eat Better bandwagon right away.
I'm glad you did.
Like, you just realize everything you're putting into your body is affecting your body. So I kind of changed that up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that's it. So Shreya, go ahead.
What helped you the most to get through this difficult stage in your life?
Gosh, so there's two or three things that I would mention. One is my faith, being able to lean not on me and know that it's way bigger than me. And to surround yourself with people that support you, that you're not surrounding yourself with people that are questioning your decision and asking you, why didn't you do this? And that you set up some boundaries for people and situations, and that you just really honor yourself and take care of yourself.
Right. So tell me, I know that it's very difficult to all of a sudden to get attention everywhere and just focus on yourself. So just because, since as a mom, as a teacher, and giving yourself to too many different duties and responsibilities. So what was your expectation from a support, as from your family, friends, and how comforting it is to receive it?
So this was a very big opportunity for me to learn how to receive it. Yes. I've always been very helpful to other people. When they have a need, I step up. It was very humbling to realize that the joy I got from that, I needed to allow other people to serve me that way, because people can't take cancer away from you. And so they kind of feel, when you're on that side of the fence, you feel like, I don't know what to do for this person. But when you can cook and you can come clean and you can help them in their garden, those are things that not only help the person who's going through the cancer, but also the people that love you, making them feel a part of your journey as well.
Right. Tell me what was going through in your mind, as soon as you're ready for the treatment, and say okay, do I have to write a will? Do I need to do this? So any weird thoughts that went through your mind?
A lot of weird thoughts. One of the things that was a little bit crazy was my family. I have two children, and my husband and my kids and I were very healthy, and we just have allergies. So we had just changed our insurance because we didn't use it very often. And a month later, I got this diagnosis, and we were like, what were the chances of this, that we would change it a month earlier? So that kind of thing changed, changing, like you said, having to think of myself. That wasn't something I was very comfortable with. And I remember taking every Wednesday off from school just to be able to sleep in and have lunch with girlfriends if I wanted to, and just to break up my week. So there was a lot of change that happened for me during this time. It was a good growth.
Oh, wow. That is so good to hear, because I think certain things just, bring us back to the reality and just, making ourselves put into the shoes of like what next. So that's really, thank you for sharing that. And Swastika, I know that you have a question connecting to that one. Just go ahead.
So how did you manage to stay positive and resilient throughout your battle with cancer?
Well, like I said, my faith, and then I have really good friends that really stepped up to the plate. I had somebody that created a meal train, and I had meals coming. I had so many meals coming that I had another friend going through a hard time. And sometimes the meals would come and she would come 5 minutes behind them, and I would pass it off to her because we had so much food. Right. And that felt really good to be supported like that. And my family was very, very supportive of me. My kids were in high school. I was still working, but it's the people that you surround yourself with, and of course, my faith as well.
Wow. Yeah, that I think that helps a lot. And I think, surrounded by the positive, the people and the comments, I think it really helps us to move with the hope. And I think that is the best medicine more than anything going through this difficult time. So I have a very connecting question to that as well. So when you were receiving the treatment, so you did mention that you didn't have to go through any severe radiation treatment, and then you did not experience much of a hair loss or any of so any other complications or any other things that immediately that you experienced going through that?
I didn't experience any skin burns or anything physical at all. I did have a hard time sleeping, but that's just because you have a hard time turning your brain off of thinking of all the things that are going on. So I remember my doctor saying, you need to take Tylenol PM. It will help you sleep. And I said, oh, I don't want to get addicted to any sleeping pills. And he was like, this is Tylenol PM. Your body was created to heal when you sleep. So if you're not sleeping well, you're not going to heal. And I was like, okay, give it to me. So when I understood that that's going to help me heal better, then I was very open to that. But, the communication also between my radiologists and the nurses was just, they were so wonderful. And I think that made it easy as well. And being able to ask any question, they would just always answer anything that I had. So to be open and ask those questions, like I was like a kid, should I ask this or shouldn't I? I'm a pretty straightforward communicator, so I can accept a yes or a no, but I'm going to ask it, just like I taught you, Shreya.
Oh, absolutely. I should thank you for that. Yes, definitely it shows that they are wonderful. So do you have any suggestions for I'm sure that, there are some food changes that they have recommended. Are there any foods that you should be absolutely avoiding during
sugar?
Sugar
is cancer's food.
Okay.
Yeah. And you should eat a lot of spinach and green vegetables, but spinach is a very healthy food that helps your body do good things.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, yeah, that's wonderful to know because, the food habits make a huge difference. And I'm very sure that they made a difference in every, like a bit of whatever that is growing inside the body. So, Shreya, tell me, what's your next question?
So is there anything that you would do differently after the experience which transformed the way you live once you were a survivor?
I don't think so. That is a really good question. I don't think I would do anything different because, like I said, you have to make a decision based on the only information that you have at the time. And I feel like I was really thorough with that. I did have a friend ask me because she wanted me to do chemo and I didn't want to do that. And she said, well, what if in 5 years it comes back? Because 5 years is one of those numbers that you look for when you're a cancer survivor. And what are you going to do then? And I was like, well, then maybe I'll pick chemo. I don't know. But right now I really thought about this and prayed about it. And this is what I think. But I also would like to say, since you're asking me what I would recommend to people, don't just talk to the cancer person about their cancer. That's not what they want to talk about. They want to know about your schooling, if you're a young person, or if you're, potty training, talk about potty training and all the funny stories about that, because it just takes you away from your stuff and it makes you feel like other people are sharing their life with you as well.
Right. Talking about the same subject will actually dragging you back to the same, the routine, the same old thoughts and the same thing that repeatedly that can take you into a little bit of a depressing mood. So instead, just to take it towards the positivity so that, just make it more normal so you can actually distract it from somewhere else so that you can actually feed a little bit of endorphins to you. So that probably is the best way to keep you, happy from all those thoughts. So that's a wonderful suggestion that that you gave. I know, okay, before I ask, I'm going to have Swastika ask her next question, and then I'm going to go with mine. Go ahead, Swastika.
So, do you think you would have reacted differently or better if you had known about cancer and the potential solutions beforehand?
Definitely would have probably reacted better. I wouldn't have been afraid. I think the unknown is a really scary place. Mm-hmm. And I know for my family, even like my sister-in-law and her family, they hadn't experienced cancer before. So this was like a shakeup for them. And I had experienced a horrific cancer with my mom. And so this wasn't that situation. My cancer was removed. I did radiation. And it went away, and I'm 15 years out. So for me, that's probably why I would tell you I wouldn't have made a different decision.
Wow.
But education is really important. It helps you kind of not go crazy in your mind.
Right. So, did you ever try to find out whether it is connected to any, genetics, the family that has been already existed, and then how it actually appeared, or you're the first person in your family who got the breast cancer?
Yes. So I did get the Braxton test because I have 2 children and I wanted them to know. I mean, my son could get breast cancer as well. It's not a girl disease. And I wanted them to know if they needed to be aware of it or if they needed to just know that if they got cancer, it was not connected to me, and it isn't. But my mom has 7 sisters. So there's 8 girls in her family and none of them have breast cancer. So I am the only one in my family that I know of.
So you, so what would you just advise your daughters, by probably if they have to go through the similar test every time. So I know it is scary when your mother got it, then it's always that little bit of feeling is always there. As a matter of fact, my family had it, and it was only inherited to some other direction. So it has its own genetics to go through the different tree. So how do you give them the courage, that just because it happened to me, it may not happen to you, but how do you take care of yourself? So what is your advice to your daughter?
Well, my daughter is way braver than I am, so that's a help. But it's funny, I just called her before I got on here so that she could be praying for me and she would jump on. She's already said hello on there. And I asked her, I was like, hey, do you do your self-exam? And she's like, yes, ma'am. There she is. She goes, yes, ma'am, I do. I'm like, okay, good. That's good. And I know I've asked her that before, and I'll probably ask her for the rest of her life. But she was right beside me. Both of my kids they were older in high school. They were like Shreya's age and Swastika's age. And so we didn't hide anything from them. We didn't hide anything from them.
That's the proud mom, Sarah. Thank you so much for sharing her with us today. So we are definitely learning a lot from her experience. That's an honor. For sure.
So she, so she said she does do that. And I think they were relieved when they knew that it wasn't genetic. I mean, that's a big relief to know that, okay, this is disconnected. Not that you couldn't get a cancer, but it's not because I had breast cancer. Right. And I don't know, just I was honest with them and I just said that, I didn't do anything to get cancer. I would say it was a very stressful time for me and I wasn't sleeping well, and all those kinds of things don't help your health. But, I just wanted them to know that you don't get it because you don't do something well, or it's just cancer doesn't have an address, an age, or a gender. It just is. So
it doesn't have its choices. It just happens. So yes, that's one. So if I may ask you, like, the before and after. So I know that we are, like, after all, a human being, and we take life for granted, and sometimes we ignore ourselves and don't take care of ourselves. So what is your typical day now to keep yourself healthy? Like, what kind of exercise you do? What is your schedule? I know you, as a teacher, you have tons of work, and I'm sure that, you have absolutely, sometimes, especially online lessons are going on. Don't you get a break from the screen? So how is your typical day goes by that you keep yourself, like, more lively and positive and healthy?
Well, it's always going to be my faith first. I talk every single morning to my daughter. We have a video chat and she responds, and we do that, and it makes a big difference. At our school in particular, and I think Shreya could say this, but this year, well, you're not on campus, so you probably can't say this, but this year, a lot of us go for walks around our campus. So when I have one of my off periods, we're walking because I know for myself, vitamin D and just the physicalness of getting up and moving makes me a happier person. And so this time of year is one of my favorite times of the year. I don't like winter. And so the sun is coming out. It's starting to get warmer. I wish I could tell you I was better at working out. I know if I worked out regularly, it decreases my chances 80% of getting cancer. And so that should be the reason I work out every single day, but I don't. So I thank you for the accountability. I need to get back into that. But I have been regularly walking at work, and it has, there's several of us that do it. You can just see teachers walking around the building all day long. And we all talk about that really does, the endorphins are released, and it does make you happier, and it makes you, and it is difficult to have kids online. Like, I want Shreya's beautiful face and smile and energy in my classroom, which she's not my student anymore, but she would be right next to me. So she would poke her head in and say hi. I know she would. But, we're missing a lot of that. So that it has been hard. So those kind of things, you got to find those little ways that you can get that sunshine and those endorphins. So you should exercise more than I do. I'll just say that.
What do you do for fun? Let me ask you that.
I love to hang out with my family. We, like I said, my kids are older, so going to brunch on Sundays or just getting together is something that we like to do. Some people consider us foodies. We love to try new places to eat. I love playing with my dogs. I have the 5 dogs that I have. 3 of them live. 3 of them live full time with my daughter, and then 2 of them live full time with me. But we share our dogs. But my 2 dogs are older. They just turned 13. So I'm kind of in a stage right now where one of my dogs is passing away. Like, we would be surprised if she would be here in December. So that kind of consumes me. And my husband and I love to play word games. We're really into that on our phone. Like, we play together. And we just like to be together. Your time with me is important to me more than other things. So that's one of my love languages.
So is a caffeine, taking a caffeine after the treatment, is a no-no, or is it still, is allowed and you're okay with that?
Are you talking about, is it a no-no for Pam, or is it a no-no from the doctor?
Well, I mean, in anybody, like, of course, who is going through that, because we all are, how addicted we can get with, to, get ourselves energized. And sometimes it just kicks back and then say, like, yes, I'm all, back. So such situations are after this.
Okay, so when I was going through treatment, and probably for up to 3 years after, maybe even 5 years, because that 5 year is such a big deal. I ate very healthy. I worked out. I did all kinds of things that I was told and read and knew to do. And I'm 15 years out now, so I do drink coffee a lot.
Awesome.
I do.
We do need that treat once in a while, Phil. I think we all deserve that treat.
And when Shreya was in my room, if I didn't say I drank coffee, she'd be like, I think I saw a cup on your desk every single day from Einstein. So
we cannot hide. We cannot hide. And this has been a great information that you have been given, because I know that the just going through this cancer is not just the medicine or the treatment or the any kind of a just like saying that, okay, I just went in there and this was my experience and all that, because every bit of a minute of your life matters, whether it's a before, during, or after. So it makes a huge difference, not just in our life, also the people around us. And they also start looking at you in a very affectionately, and then the caring, and everything changes. Probably is the best result of this, because probably we start valuing our life with one just of that hit. So I think Shreya has another question. Go ahead, Shreya.
Yeah, so what suggestions would you make to people who are currently facing the same challenges that you did throughout your battle with cancer? Do you have any advice for current cancer patients?
I would just say, allow others to help you. It's humbling, but it works for you and for them. To honor yourself in what you think is correct, and to just surround yourself with really positive people that can support you.
That definitely makes so much sense, and thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. It means a lot, because I know that so many of the patients that who are going through that, it's not easy to talk about it. And congratulations, and I'm so grateful for knowing so much depth of your experience and sharing it with us. And one more thing that before we close on, Shreya, Swastika, do you have any questions?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. All right. So one of the things that I want to mention is, make your choices very carefully once you really, find out about those, situations, especially. So I don't know how probably the patients will do in this current pandemic situation, but at the same time, now that we are already talking about the cancer, and then we belong to this organization, Save a Life IYC, in your community every single day. The organization itself focuses on saving one life at a time, with one of the most wonderful gift that we all have can give, which is a small contribution of your cell, which is whether the bone marrow or the stem cells. So a lot of people do have a different of a misconception about, or a misunderstanding about how it is done, and everything that is probably they're watching the movie, or in any type of a cancer that like a patient go through or a person go through is very difficult. But since the Save a Life IYC focuses on blood cancer, and is because it is a very difficult the donation that we are going to have to ask, because it is a ethnicity based, and also it's very rare, and it's very hard to find. Only 20% match that can be done in so many several of thousands. So that is the reason that we are trying. I am the regional awareness ambassador serving for this organization. It's an honor for me to reach out to people, reach out to the community, not just here in Dallas but throughout the US, in the Asian Indian community or any community that who are looking for such donation. Please do get involved and try to find out more, because it is easier than what we think. It's nothing to be afraid of, because it has a very advanced way of doing the treatment and also the donation. So I think we want to share some information. Shreya and Swastika, can you tell our audience today that how they can actually reach out to the organization if they want to be part of it?
If you would like to join our cause and our big family here at Save a Life IYC, then please reach out to us at savealifecommunity21@gmail.com. That's savealifecommunity21@gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Swastika.
And for more information about Save a Life, you can visit the website www.videsi.org. www.videsi.org.
Okay. All right. Now that we got all the information, and I hope that that whoever participating, I would like to thank everyone, and especially Mrs. Pam. It's an honor having you, and thank you so much. And we really, really enjoyed, and it was extremely informative. And thank you so much on behalf of my team, Save a Life IYC team, and and on behalf of all the audience also, I'd like to thank you for joining.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And volunteers, wonderful job. Keep up the great work. And I'm really proud of you for being, the part of this organization, and keep up the really good work. Continue it. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And don't forget to tune in again on a Global Gupshup on our next episode of another one next month. Till then, have a wonderful weekend. Good night. And also take care. Stay safe. Thank you.